Hey, what it do with the business is?
It's another week in the books with the OndeckTV podcast. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown. If you're looking for me on Twitter, Instagram, and sometimes Snap.
I don't believe that. I am Spike Lou on those same social sites. Holla at your boy if you're looking
Who did
for
Snap?
me. No, I don't believe
I am Spike Lou on Snap right now and TikTok.
No way. I need that TikTok account, though. I see they running the TikTok for business. I was talking to a guy today, said he advertises business on TikTok.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be pretty dope, like quick little 15-second of what you do.
I can respect that, though.
How's it looking out there on your side?
Looks great, man. I went to the mall over the weekend.
Hope you had a mask on.
It's mandatory. I don't understand where I'm going to go without a mask. Well,
Man.
actually, I don't know. It may not have been because I'd say it's like 80-20 mask to no mask. 80-20.
So who are the 20% of people with no mask?
Yeah. I mean, just it was about right. I ain't gonna lie, it was dunk though. It was more people than I expected though. I was in and out. Nah, I was in and out on some grown man washed up shit.
Oh,
but it was way
vacuum cleaner or something.
Right, new bed and some shit, new bed spread and shit like that.
That's funny.
How you living over there, sir?
Can't complain, man. Another day, another week in the books. Glad to have everybody here. Just beasting it out. It's September already. Yes, holy moly. That's crazy. We 9 months into this year. That ain't crazy to you?
It's felt like Absolutely 9 years.
Insane. Really? I think it's going by fast. I find myself waking up. Yeah, this year is flying by. A lot has happened, but this shit is flying by.
No.
You don't agree?
Well, maybe because March just took so long. Maybe that's it.
March did take a long time. But we are back in the books to give you guys the hip-hop of the week. These are the quick hits, man. Megan Thee Stallion, Uzi, and Rolling Loud are holding virtual concerts. We're going to talk about if you're here for that or not. And expectations for the long-awaited Big Sean album is produced by Hit Boy and Kanye. We're going to dive into that. And rap critic Fantano, he got backlash for going in on 16-year-old rapper Red Veil's music. We're going to talk about if that was fair or foul. But first, the headline of the week, Lil Durk claims that Tekashi 6ix9ine's camp reached out to him and offered him $3 million, Animal Brown, to continue the trolling campaign that these two have been going back and forth for. Let me ask you a question, man. Would you take them up on that offer if you were in Lil Durk's camp for that $3 million?
First of all, kudos to us. We haven't mentioned Tekashi's name in a very long time.
I didn't even want to do this topic. I ain't gonna lie to you.
We have been purposefully looking the other way whenever he's been doing the goofy shit that he's been doing for the last 8 weeks. However, this was interesting because Durk is Durk, and he's been on 2 big projects in the last 2 weeks. He's got a new project coming out this week. And considering Durk was trolling 6ix9ine previously for free, I find it interesting that he wouldn't do it for a bag. However, I do respect the hell out of it. He actually went on an Instagram rant and said that he would never mention his name or interact with 6ix9ine again. I give him props for that. He said he wouldn't take the bag. He was too tied to the streets. So let's presume that the bag claims are legit. Then I can respect it. I do wonder if he wasn't on the number 2 song in the country right now, would he have turned that $3 billion down? So that is questions that I would need answered. But kudos to Durk. I can respect it. All money ain't good money.
When you say Durk was trolling him previously, what are you talking about? I didn't see that.
Well, yeah, because Tekashi had went to Chicago. He made his little trip to Chicago with the O Block. Went to I don't know if it was the grave site or if it was the place where he got killed, but it was Durk's cousin. And he was trying to act like he was paying homage to his cousin, trolling him. And so Durk was going back and forth. Durk trolled him in the Drake song. He said, "Don't play that little boy. We don't listen to rats." Yeah, so they've been going back and forth.
Man, come on with them $3 million, man. Like I ain't even here to play with you. This is the music business. You was doing it for free, as you just said. Anyway, come on with them 3. And the reason that I say that, like, Durk, he young, get this money. Like, if them rat suckers on the other side, they want to do whatever they want to do, that's fine. But if you offer me $3 million and continue telling people that you a bitch ass nigga, come on with it. Come on with it. Like I don't like I
I don't know if
get
he
the
need
not.
that right now, man. I don't know if he
Lil
need that.
Durk, he doing it anyway though. That's what I'm
But
saying. Like if he had just ignored this and not even came out and been like they offered me 3 million, then I get it. Like we bigger than this, we over this. But if you telling people that they came to you and offered this, obviously like you probably considered it. I think. I'm not
probably.
here to say that for sure, but like, come on with it, man. Like, if all he got to do is double down, I ain't got to talk to this nigga. And ain't no behind the scenes. Oh, we still cool shit. Like, I'm calling you a bitch ass nigga because I think you a bitch ass nigga, and you giving me $3 million. Come on with it.
I
All of it.
guarantee you, there's some type of call off the dogs or make sure I'm straight when I go to
Nope.
Chicago. I guarantee that was in there
That's
somewhere.
what
I
I'm saying. It wouldn't be
guarantee it.
nothing for me if I'm Dirk. I'm negotiating from a position of power. Yeah, we're gonna give you the three, but nope. All right, but you just nope. Just nah. Just give me my 3 million and let me keep going in on you. And I hope you sell 25,000 records this week. That's it.
Listen, somebody else, Lil TJ came out and said he was offered the same thing.
But you see the update, the Tekashi's flipped this.
Oh, talk to me.
The update when I was just doing some research before the show, he's flipped it and said that it was Lil Durk's team that's offering him $5 million to troll.
That sounds like a troll,
That's what
and
I'm
I don't
saying. That's
believe
why
it.
you don't even get in the mud with this nigga. I don't even put the shit out there that y'all offer me 3 million because now you got this jerk off doing this shit. That's why I'm like, if you not gonna take the 3 million, then don't take the 3 million. Don't mention it. Don't talk about it. But if you consider it and tell you, yeah, you know, nigga was trying to offer me 3 million, like that means you was like, nah, fuck that. I ain't got nothing to talk to this nigga about other than him transferring me these 3 millions and me continuing to go hard on you. Other
But
than that, my nigga, nah.
in the beginning, people thought he was a legitimate. People didn't. Well, people kind of were skeptical of his status for real, for real. But for the most
Who,
part, he was
Dirk?
getting a lot of people. No, I'm talking about Takashi. They
Takashi.
thought the
Okay.
trolls were actually like real threats and XYZ, and he was really about their life and all. So that's why they were entertaining him to begin with.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm
Later
saying they've been
on,
entertaining him now, though. Like you
that's
said,
true.
this recently just happened when the nigga was right there in front of his cousin grave doing that shit.
Yeah,
Right? Like this was recent. Like I
that was very recent.
until I seen King Von talking about it
Yep.
too, another up and coming rapper from Chicago. These guys are younger than me, so I mean I wouldn't probably approach it the same way. But until like even if he did all of that, he can mention whoever name since he's came out before and said he was trolling when he was in court. Until somebody I know did something to him, I'm not have nothing to say, no response. If all as far as everybody on the internet know, you getting away with this shit, nigga. As far as anybody know, like I ain't even responded. And when somebody brings it up, oh, I didn't even see it. Damn, I ain't see that. He did what? Oh, Tekashi 6ix9ine comes up dead 3 weeks later.
Jesus Christ. That escalated
But
quickly.
that's who he's playing with, though. Like those are the type of games that he playing when he playing with these Chicago niggas and the people that meant something to them, and like they got it act for the same thing for like
Yeah,
making those videos. Like that he playing with shit that ain't got no need for him to play with.
that's
He
true.
was teetering on the line when he went out there to Nipsey shit and did that shit with, as far as pissing the
Yeah, a
Crips
lot of
off.
people. A lot of people
But
didn't like that.
now, like he fucking with niggas that are dead. This ain't no game. So like
Yeah.
going back and forth with him and negotiating and taking phone calls about $3 million. Like I ain't even telling nobody that happened. But something might happen to him, and now y'all gonna try to tie that shit to me.
That's a good point.
Nah.
They both have albums coming out Friday for people keeping score. September 4th. I forgot what the name of Durk album is. My bad, Durk. Takashi's is called Tattletales. So
Obviously. See, he milking this shit,
obviously,
man. He
yeah,
loving
you have
every
to.
minute of this shit, nigga. Going home sleeping like a baby at night.
Yeah, shit
Bum
crazy, man.
ass.
Moving on. COVID has thrown a curveball to the music industry, effectively shutting down concerts for who knows how long. But that doesn't mean people can come up with brand new ways of entertaining their fans. Megan Thee Stallion and Lil Uzi both held online virtual concerts, $15 if you wanted tickets. And Rolling Loud just announced their virtual concert to replace their canceled event next year. Question, are you here for the digital shows?
Absolutely, man. I can go to a concert and I get my sneakers dirty. Let's run it right here in the living room. You can invite people over. You like only one person got to pay the 15. You have some refreshments, snacks, all that good stuff. I think this is a great idea for watch people like me, especially if you don't want to go out and be amongst the crowd. I think this is great, and I hope more artists get into it, especially maybe older artists. You can put on a
Mm,
good virtual show, get you some good production out there, and where you ain't necessarily got to have that many people to have a really big concert, similar to some shit like Versus do. Monica and Brand, they had like 1 million people on their shit. So I
1.2.
think, I think that once you start exploring into this space, you got a lot of possibilities of what you'll be able to do. I like it. What do you
When you
think?
say older, give me an example of who could benefit from a virtual concert that you think would make sense for the 15. Because the reason I say
Um,
that, because I think Megan and Uzi, they have energy. They're still young.
mhm,
They're still
true.
got people that Uzi's still jumping around, running around stage. Megan still got the choreographed dancers. She doing her
Right.
thing on stage. So when you say older, I don't know if Jay is running around on stage and shit. I don't know if it
You're
hit the
right,
same.
but that's part of the experience. That's why I mentioned production, because that's a great question. I don't want to see a nigga standing there rapping. When you bring the production into it, you do something similar to what J. Cole was doing with the HBO.
Okay.
You close it out maybe with a concert, you give a good story around the album. Like, I think it could be really big. When I say older, I mean, like, let's say Ti take the trap music whole campaign, and you talk about how I opened the trap museum and everything that went into trap music. You got stories, and then you intertwine that with his performances.
That's hard.
Like, that could be some fire shit. You got a live band back there, then you cut back to a story about how we recorded whatever song that came off the album. They got a good story to it.
Yeah,
The production value of this, I think, would be fire. And then you,
I
like you
agree.
saying, you right there watching it live. They get a little break in between time. You can bring different people into it. You could really do a lot with this, even older and younger, like you said, with the energy. Or if we do some production stuff and you tie some old stuff into it.
That's true. I'm here for the digital shows when it comes to festivals because I'm not going to those anyway.
Nah.
I'm washed and introverted. I'm not going to a festival with thousands of motherfuckers drunk, lit, stepping on my shoes, bumping into me. I don't have time for any of that. But when it comes to individual shows, though, like I'm using the
Yeah.
two as an example since they just had them, Uzi and Megan. I don't. That's a crowd I can deal with. I'm okay with going to like a Freddie Gibbs show. I'm okay, going to a medium sized show like that. I'd rather see that in person. The experience to me is a little more intimate and is a little better. But it is smart though, because you got to get paper in this drought right now if you are
Man,
if you're an artist, because them
a
streams
lot,
can
man.
only do so much, dude.
You got to come up with innovative ways. That's why I said Dirk should have took him 3 million. You want to talk about it? Come on with them three, nigga. I can't tour right now either. Run
Yeah.
it.
Now you can't
But
you
yeah,
can't sit around and complain about how the shit is right now. You got to adapt. You got to flip the script and look at the production of like look at the BET, the Hip Hop Awards production, or look at
yeah, right.
the
Rich stepped up a
VMAs.
level off of that. I ain't seen
Man,
the VMAs, but those good.
man, hard.
They
Like
did that thing.
the production on those live performances was tough. I was like, damn. So
Yeah,
you can pull something like that off, man. You can change the game, man. Make some classic shit, dog. They need to do
yeah,
that.
man. If I was a rapper right there, I would have my team on there. Like, I would want to
That's
be
a
the
fact.
first rapper that did a big ass show like this
That's a
big
fact.
virtual concert. Let's market it everywhere. Like, make that shit big,
And
and see what you could do.
there's precedence for this too because Made in America Festival, Coachella, those have been available to watch virtually for years. For
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
don't feel like going to Philadelphia or going to Cali, you can watch those online. So it's not as if like the technology doesn't exist or how can we? No,
yeah.
people been
Just take the
doing it.
right minds behind it.
Just come up with a creative set, the same shit they do at the award shows and make it happen. That it's a dope idea. So
I
if
agree.
Ti said I got the $15 trap music,
Run
uh,
it. Here's my card. Here's my card. Absolutely.
yeah, that's the
I am
fact. I'm
here
down.
for it. All right. The expectations are here. It's finally we're on the week. My man Big Sean is about to come out and solidify himself as a top 3 rapper.
Mm.
Somebody got to move. Um, what are your expectations for this Big Sean album dropping on Friday?
Man, Detroit too. We have been waiting a very long time. This has been teased for forever. In my opinion, I think it was supposed to come out earlier this year. Of course, COVID threw a lot of shit off. My expectation level was through the roof. Like, we haven't had a true Big Sean solo album since 2017. I'm not counting the Metro Boomin joint. I wasn't really feeling that. But the I Decided was the last joint, and I really fucked with that album heavy. We didn't get a Big Sean 7-piece from Good Music when they were doing that, you know, back to back to back when we got Pusha and Ye and all the Kissy Ghosts and shit. We didn't get the Big Sean version of that, so we was cheated out of that. So I am looking forward to this. I seen a rumored track list. I don't know if this is legit, but it looked dope. I have been playing the hell out of the song with Nipsey. I've been waiting on that to drop since the damn Hit Boy beat battle. So I'm excited as fuck. I have really big expectations. If this album is some slaw, I would be shocked. Flat out. Where are you at with it?
My expectation level is very high. I too expect Big Sean to come out and do big things. I wasn't as big a fan of that last album as you're saying that you were. I love Dark Sky Paradise though.
That's
Big Sean can rap his ass off, man, and it's gonna take this Detroit 2, the vibe that I'm getting from him. I think this is one of those cornerstone projects of his career. This is gonna be one of those blueprint type albums, one of those albums where people say classic, like the Your Good Kid, Mad City album. I think that he's ready to do that and take a step into the top 3 doing it. I mean, he's been away for a while. Like, it's all adds up. Now, if it comes in a little less than that, I'd be disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, because I look at Big Sean as like a superstar. Like, he's the guy ready to take the next step, ready to be in that constant conversation of best rappers that are out there. So I expect a lot from this.
The Nipsey song was enough for me to cop merch. So I'm excited.
I took a different approach with that. I listened once just to get my fix from hearing it in their verses, but I want to hear it in the album because that's what I think this album is going to be.
I agree.
Nipsey song was like getting song Cry before Blueprint came out, and you just running it back. Like,
there's a second. He released another song that I was like, nah, I ain't watching nothing. I had to get the Nipsey song out. Just
come on, yeah. I had to listen to it once. As soon as it dropped, I went to go run it. But I think this is gonna be a great album, man, and how it meshes together and the whole flow of it is gonna be important. I think Big Sean gonna take off to the next level. I know he's on a high level. He's gonna take off to the next level where people ain't gonna be able to question him as an artist after this.
I don't need it to be blueprint level. You don't put the blueprint tag on
I'm
it.
saying
That's
his
rough.
blueprint though. It may not measure up to the original blueprint, but I'm just saying this has to be that type of album for him. Cause like, as much good music as Jay put out, when you say Jay-Z in the first album, banging album, you think of Blueprint.
Well, Reasonable Doubt has something to say, sir. It's on line 2.
Come on.
Reasonable Doubt is
Jay-Z,
on line 2.
You think Blueprint. Honestly. Tell me
I
what
do
you think.
Personally.
You personally. I think that's what I'm saying. I think that this is gonna be that for Big Sean. Like, this is gotta be that type of album for him. And this is gonna make his career. It's gonna be not blueprint quality music, not necessarily, but this type of album, that type of pillar in his career.
I follow him on IG, and he teased a song with Wayne that sounds so banging. I was like, man, this nigga album. Yes. Really? I didn't hear none of his verse or nothing, but that shit sound crazy. Yeah, I'm excited.
Nuts. Kanye didn't have too much to do with it.
He executive producer, so that's why you're excited. Because we know in that music shit. Listen, fuck the politics and the political run.
Hits, boy. That's what we know.
I'm excited. Can't wait. Review next week. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now.
Absolutely.
Man, before we get to our main topic today, which is the Hip-Hop Hall of Fame Albums Edition, second ballot, we've got one more topic, man. Popular YouTube rap critic Anthony Fontano, I hope that's how you say his name, caught backlash the other day. He reviewed a 16-year-old rapper named Red Veil's music, and he went on a rant on Twitter essentially trashing the rapper and his music. A lot of people jumped in his mentions, wearing him out for going in on a teenager. Was Fantano's critique of the 16-year-old's music fair or foul?
I think it's fair, man. My guy Red Veil, he went out there, he put his music out there for people to hear. So you have to be open to what people who are, and I ain't saying Fantano's some expert, but he is in the industry, he does this for a living. You gotta be open to what people say about it. And this has gotten him a lot more attention than we usually get. I know a lot more people are talking about him. I seen his name trending on Twitter. My guy Chris Platt had asked me, had I heard of him? This made me go listen to his music. Once I seen what was going on, and the album was good. I was surprised. And I won't lie, I thought it was gonna be some young kid shit, but he's not necessarily just on there. Like he's spitting, like for a 16-year-old, especially. Like it's available on. I listen to it on Spotify. It's on all the streaming sites. But type in his name, it'll pop up. It sounds good. He got Damani on there, T.I. son. As far as I think doing some production and stuff. But did you listen?
No, absolutely not. Look, Anthony Fantano, I'm familiar with him. He's got the Needle Drop YouTube page. He's got a huge following, 2.2 million subscribers. That's nothing to sleep at. If you're not familiar with him, he goes pretty in depth and can be very opinionated with his takes on his reviews and whatnot, but they're very detailed. And if you look and see what he said to the kid, he went on a mean Twitter rant and was snapping. He was cussing at him and everything. And I think that's where people took offense to it, because he was talking to a teenager, and he being a grown ass man, yeah. It kind of like you bullying or you're talking down. And it looks a little weird. Quite frankly, it's weird. Now, having an opinion about something, that's one thing. Going over the top and doubling down and calling him out of his name and going on a rant is something totally different. That's borderline weird at that
it's
point.
Unprofessional at the very least.
That too,
at the very least, you're not doing your job correctly. You don't interact. Yeah, you don't interact with the people that you're critiquing that way. Make it look like you're biased. What's that?
I'm gonna shoot him some bail. The kid had been spamming the hell out of Fantano to review his shit. He had been spamming the shit out of him. That can get annoying after a while if you're getting constant DMs and mentions and ads from some relative nobody. Hey man, look at my shit. Listen to my song. Review my song. You ask a question, how's everybody doing? Man, listen to my song. Bruh, shut the fuck up. I'm going to listen to this shit and I'm going to shit on it.
Yeah, now it makes sense because he put the sleeping emojis. Now it's like, you guided me all of this time and now it ain't even worth me listening to it. It's like, I think he probably went into it with a bias and then it just spiraled into this. Like, I don't know. It seems unprofessional to me. Like,
it seems weird because he's grown as fuck. That's why it's weird. If this kid was 22, no one would have gave a shit. But they're literally trying to cancel him, and I was like, man, get the fuck out of here.
And there's a whole black-white dynamic there too. Like him talking to him like that as a white man and to a little black kid.
I didn't even know the kid was black, so the articles that I read didn't mention it.
But no, I'm saying the reaction, not articles. I'm not talking about the people that wrote articles about it. I'm talking about the reactions, the Twitter reactions and the social media reactions were that was something to it as well. Him talking to a little black boy like that.
This is all the more reason to open the country back up, dude, because I swear people need something to do. Bro, if you're trying to cancel somebody for an opinion on some music, which I can listen to and say it's trash, you can listen to it and say it's straight. The next person can listen to it and say it's okay. The next person can listen to it and say it's classic, bro. Like, people got way too much time on their hands, and they really
canceling him for being unprofessional, though. He's being canceled or trying to be canceled for being unprofessional. That's what it is.
He absolutely won't be canceled for this. He didn't say, nigga, suck my dick. Like, he didn't. Like, come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all.
He chose to react that way. I ain't shooting him no bail. Fuck that.
Motherfuckers is crazy. Listen, we have a super special topic. We haven't done a Hip-Hop Hall of Fame episode since 2018. We are long overdue. All right. That last episode was our album's first ballot inductees. All right. Now, we do this. We've done mixtapes. We've done albums. We've done rappers. I think we might even done second ballot rappers. We haven't touched on second ballot Hip-Hop Hall of Fame albums. Just for context, the Hip-Hop Hall of Fame doesn't exist yet until we open it. Coming soon, I'm sure. So we decided to make our own Hall of Fame and induct 5 projects, 5 people, 5 producers, 5 mixtapes, whatever it is that we're talking about at a time. And this time we're going with our albums. So you and I have come up with 5 that we are inducting. Now let's take them back. We got to let them know what the first ballot was. So for people that weren't here in 2018, first of all, shout out for y'all to jumping on. Go back and check out the episode. We may post it up on the feed this week to catch it. But we'll tell you our 5 first ballot Hall of Fame albums were All Eyes on Me, Good Kid, Mad City, the aforementioned Blueprint 1, Doggy Style, and TM 101.
And
Now,
much too much heat, that TM 101.
as it should have. Now, for context, for those who don't know, our scale starts from 93 and up. That's when Doggy Style came out. We started the show in 2013. So we said we're going to use the scale from 93 and up. So that's why there's no Chronic and no KRS-One shit that was way before my time.
And hip hop is consumed in eras, right? So we
Facts.
don't want to be just like we don't sit on here and when we don't review Playboy Cardi or review what's the kid's name, Lil Uzi. We don't review
Red
those
Veil,
albums.
motherfucker, whoever.
Red Veil, like we don't review those albums because we know that's outside of the context of hip hop that we consume, understand, we appreciate it. You know, some of those kids we like, just like some of the older albums, we like those. Like we listen to the Chronic, of course,
Right.
like and older albums of that nature, but it's just to grasp what we are doing here as far as explaining it and how it impacted our life. Starting in 1993 is a nice gauge. And like you said, 10 years, we started that after 2013, we started the show. So
Exactly.
that's the explanation behind it. Of course, I'm not a hip hop historian like LeBron James.
I am.
Neither are you. So that's why we don't go back that far. I'm a Southern hip hop historian, though, but just not a full hip hop historian. So I don't want to be biased and going that far back on those.
Real quick, though, before we get into our second ballot selections, looking back at the first ballot list, does that stick? Are you satisfied with that? Especially that Jeezy pick, because that was
I ain't gonna lie, I may switch that Jeezy.
That was a little bit of a reach.
Shit on it 2 years later.
That's true.
He didn't close out his career strong enough to have it still in that first ballot. Sorry, it just is what it is.
That's a fact.
What would you replace it with?
I mean, probably one of these that we're going to talk about.
Really?
Easy.
Okay.
It's only right.
Well, to do a modification and to start on a high note, we'll make it a high note. We're going to do 6 this year, and we're going to do a posthumous induction because we both love this album. We lost one of our favorite rappers to once we started doing this podcast. I know people have told me that they started listening to Nipsey Hussle because they heard us talk about him on here. So we did want to extend this year and add an extra one on, which is Victory Lap, adding that into the OndeckTV Hip-Hop Hall of Fame. We just think that it's right. It's only right as far as the style of our show and what we appreciate as hip-hop fans. He was a perfect example of that, in my opinion. I won't speak for you, but he was an exemplary figure in what I look for when I look for a rapper. So 100% felt like we needed to do the Victory Lap as well this year.
Yep, the honorary, like you said, posthumous inductee will be the Victory Lap album. I have no arguments against that. I thought the album was a classic. It just everything surrounding it, the title, the concept, the whole nine, man. The way that how long it took to even get to us, it was worth the wait. And I'll be listening to that 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
Blue Laces 2 every day.
See what I'm saying?
Since Nip has died, every day.
That's honorary inductee, with all due respect to these 5 that we're about to get into.
Absolutely. So how you want to do this? Back and forth? How you want to do it? You want to start?
We back and forth like Red and Meth. Just kick off one. Whichever one you feel like speaking on first, and why you felt the need to vote it in second ballot, why it's worthy.
All right. Well, I'll start with drum roll, please. Nas, Illmatic, 1994. Okay. Now I get a lot of heat in the streets from people who think I don't like Nas.
You don't.
So I definitely like Nas. I appreciate his career. There needs to be a villain to Jay-Z. So I mean, I appreciate him for what he was. Which was a great artist, and I don't want to take anything away from him. I doubled back, listened to this Illmatic recently.
Okay.
I get it why people appreciate the album the way they do. And I tell you what made me come around to that is the lack of what you get from Illmatic now. Like there's no new rapper that came out with an album like that, that descriptive. Like nowadays, not knocking, like hip hop has matured a lot, so you have a lot of different styles, but you don't have a kid that comes out and does what he did on this album as far as how he's rapping, setting the tone for the next 20 years about how people will be rapping. It's just now recently the cadences and flows and how people have attacked 16s changed. Like
Yeah.
that recently changed. And I think Nas ushered in the style of rap that's prior to the one that we hear now, the one that we grew up on. Nas ushered in that style, and he ushered it in with this album.
You know what? First of all, I agree 1,000%. Him at his age putting out this type of work. We just got through talking about a young 16-year-old kid that made a project that you said was actually, better than you expected.
Absolutely.
Imagine a young boy putting out something like this at that time in 94 when rap was just kind of phasing out of a particular style of music. And this was a little bit more quote unquote modern. The pictures that he's painting on here they're graphic to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like you can still see them. He is rapping his whole entire ass off. And an underrated aspect of this album, in my opinion, is the album cover. How many times have you seen, the young picture of the artist on on front of an album cover now? Because the big,
impactful.
That's what I'm saying. Big Joint came out in 95. I want to say Ready to Die came out in 94, September of 94. Illmatic came out a little bit earlier than that. It came out in April of 94. So when you look at that kid, take my 7-year-old picture and put it on the album cover, you can thank Nas Illmatic for that. So it's been parodied 100,000 times. It's been copied. So in my opinion, I know the album is fire. We've talked about it on the show before. It's probably like a landmark album in terms of East Coast hip hop. We already know that. I think the album cover is amazing as well. And like we fuck with a lot of people because I wasn't listening to this in 94 when it came out. Right. I didn't get on Nas until probably I Am, like really on Nas, like knowing the words and I'm finna go get that day of shit until I Am. So I had to double back and listen to this. And by then it was 6, 7, 8 years old. So it didn't hit quite the same, but I understand the impact though. And you ask anybody that was around that time of age, they'll tell you what type of smash it was.
What are some of if you had to pick a song, did you have one in mind?
Yeah, New York State of Mind. That shit is hard, bro. Like that, and then even just that phrase, you know what I'm saying? Like again, that has lasted the test of time. That's a phrase in pop culture when you say, you know what I'm saying, you got New York State of Mind. Game used it. It's a fire song, man. Of course, Life's a Bitch with AZ too, because he ripped.
I like AZ washes. First of all, AZ washed Nas on every project that he's on. Yes, absolutely. I'm just letting y'all guys know, man. Every time, go listen to every AZ feature he get out on Nas. Just letting you know. But Halftime, I like Halftime. Okay. Halftime is banging, and Memory Lane that's sitting in the park. I like those two. Those are like two of my favorites in my re-listen where I'm like, okay, I get it. I fuck with it.
Nah, the album is classic, man. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, I guess I will take. We'll keep it in the 90s. I'm going 96. Notorious B.I.G. Life After Death. Listen, double disc. We had a double disc in the first ballot with All Eyes on Me. I personally think that this is the better of the two. I think this is the best double disc of all time. Hip hop. This shit is fucking fire.
It's better than All Eyes on Me.
What? No. I think All Eyes on Me had a bigger impact, but I think this is a better album for me personally. I'm not gonna argue nobody down like, nigga, what do you think? No, I get it. I prefer that. If I had to choose one, give me this.
All right.
Like, first of all, him passing away 2-3 weeks prior to this, and then the album coming out being called Life After Death, the eeriness surrounding all of that. It came out on March 25th. That's my mom's birthday and the day before mine. Shout out to Mom Dukes.
Nice.
I remember buying this album in the thick ass double CD case that it came in and running this through. And I promise you, through an hour and 20 minutes of music, bro, there's probably 2 songs I don't like. And the rap, like Biggie bars today, Like if
It's better
you
than a lot of nigga shit today.
man, listen, if okay, if you just weren't into hip hop right now and somebody came out and just only rapped Biggie lyrics, but you didn't know that they
You
were
would think
somebody
he
else's
was
lyrics,
cold.
you think that nigga was cold? You be like, damn. If the Red Veil nigga came out and only rapped Biggie
Fact.
lyrics to his 16-year-old friends, they'd be like, shit,
That's
this
a
nigga's
fact.
amazing. Biggie is amazing. This album never gets old. It had the numbers to go with it. It just the whole nine, bro. Like the album is amazing, dog. Front to back, a double CD. It doesn't get old. I don't know if I like disc 1 or disc 2 more. I go back and forth every time I listen to it. This is a fucking classic album, Biggie.
This album was like a movie. Like this life after
Yeah,
death shit,
movie.
even the cover, like this shit was like a mafia fucking movie, and it was different. It was new when it came out. Like Puff, like Life After Death is just like. I mean, I was dismissive of it when you just said the All Eyes on Me because they're right there together. Like
Yeah, that's
you
fair.
can't argue one down over the other.
That's fair.
Big is just rapping so much better on his. Pac's impact is bigger. May have bigger songs, but Big is just rapping. Even the single like Hypnotized is running this back. How that mug come in and like he just like niggas wasn't rapping like that on singles. Like what Big was like, come on, like
Yep.
the single with the late great R. Kelly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out
Like
to R.
all
Kelly's
of that,
career.
man. Like he like Big is killing shit on here. So
Yeah,
it's from a rapping standpoint, it's one of the best albums. I do agree with you there. Like it can't, I can make could have been first ballot,
that's true.
100%. Like it's
I wouldn't have been
from
mad.
a rapping standpoint.
You can swap it out. The singles, More Money, More Problems. Like even that, which is a single. Hypnotize is a single. This is what
That's a
Puff was here
single. That
for.
nigga was spitting.
He was ripping that shit. Big budget video, super dope video. More Money, More Problems. It came out after he passed, was a single. And then just like classic joints, bro. 10 Crack Commandments. Going back to Cali. Like I even like Player Hater. That's the song that niggas don't like. I fucks with that shit heavy. That shit is
absolutely
heavy. You're nobody till somebody kills you. Like him rapping, man, bro.
I think
It's nuts.
Kicking the Door is probably my favorite song on there. The story, him telling the story. Today's agenda, got the jacket, agenda, tell him Blanco sent you. Man, he was fat. Every time I listen to that story, like I hadn't heard it before. Like he's fucking that up.
That's a fact. I like, before we go on to the next one, I was a Bone fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so to hear him rap with Bone, flip his style up to somewhat mimic theirs, and just be bodying it though.
Like, I think I heard Lassie say he worked on that verse for like a day.
Yeah, he left the studio and came back.
He said Big usually didn't do that.
Yep.
Big usually just give it to you raw right there. He said he had to leave on that. But you respect that. That's dope.
Sky's the Limit, probably my favorite song though.
That's a good one.
Love that song.
100%. All right, next? So we got 2 down.
Yep.
The next one, I'll take the honor of doing. My guy, I remember you and I were working at Kroger, bagging groceries when this CD came out. And my guy Mont,
shout out to
Mont came. He had all the Cash Money CD early. This nigga was anti-no limit. Only nigga I ever knew that was anti-no limit. Nigga fucked with just Cash Money. Yep. Y'all ain't heard this 400 Degrees. What is this shit, man? Like, what? Who? Juvenile. The nigga that did the that nigga, that video, no, good. I remember that still today. I remember that because I remember once I listened to it, I would have bought it with my little check that day. Come on with that Juvenile. I bought 2 copies, one for me, one for my cousin. Mm-hmm. Like this is a nostalgia thing to it as far as people put the fight back that I got on it when I was asking people about the Hall of Fame albums. They feel like this is just a Southern classic, and I disagree. Mm-hmm. I disagree with that. Like you got Jay-Z on the remix for like niggas was that was all across the country just because it was so different, but it was still it was so New Orleans. Like I want to know who the genius was. That's one story that I would love to hear Juvenile tell. Like who idea was it to do the Like who I want to know who was like, hey, bro, after every line, every bar, just say because that's if you think about it, that simple thing, I think that put Cash Money over the top.
Yeah.
That gave Baby 30 years of what he has now. Like a nigga was like, because I remember when people were talking about that song, and I was dismissive of it. The reason I didn't get the album when it came out, because I was like, a nigga saying huh after every bar, like that's stupid.
It
Then
was
you listen
different.
to it, it's like it's okay. It ain't bad as I thought it would be, but I'm not buying this album.
Mm-hmm.
And then you buy the album, you're like, okay, this nigga Juvenile is cold, even though you knew that from the Hot Boys. But I remember specifically when this album came out and my reaction to it. What about you?
Yeah, this was a big
Degrees.
deal, huge deal down south. But for all accounts, though, like you said, it was a little more nationwide than some people want to give it credit for. I think back to the Manny Fresh and Scott Storch battle, and he played something off of here, and it kind of got mixed reviews in the IG chat and whatnot. But I fuck all that, man. Like this, the
You got
album's a
back that
classic.
ass up on there.
Yeah, back that ass up is come
It's a
on, bro.
hip
Like
hop national anthem.
that's a fact, okay, and that's across all
Don't
races and
matter.
countries and
Don't matter.
everything,
All 50 states.
everywhere.
All
So
of them.
this, I remember, this was late '98. This was the album that basically kicked off the beginning of the end for No Limit in
Yeah,
terms of reigning the South.
absolutely. Because they,
Um,
man, P didn't have nothing for this. That
nah, it was
504 boys,
nah,
Silk, like you ain't got
nah,
nothing for what
nah.
this 400 degrees wave that was coming.
Yeah,
These
he had
niggas with
nothing for
these
this.
bandanas and all these Rolex watches and the riding the Hummers, P
Nope.
didn't have nothing for it. He tried to emulate. He made his own Hot Boys.
He did.
Hurt
He
me.
did.
That hurt me.
You listen.
Hurt me.
It took me forever to warm over to the Cash Money wave. Now I didn't want to. You had to drag me kicking and screaming from the No Limit side.
He was hating.
But this album, it ended up doing six times platinum, which is ridiculous. It's got to be the highest selling Cash Money album to my knowledge. I believe so. Don't nobody quote me
Not
on that.
counting the Wayne albums, right?
No, I think it sold more than Wayne shit, bro.
I don't believe
with that
that.
Carter 3,
I'm talking like Carter 3 or Carter 4.
That's true. Yeah, you might be right. But still, 6 million is nothing to sneeze at. This album is fire. If I had to pick a dope joint, records. Yeah, that's nuts. I really like Gonna Ride With Me. My 90s Gonna Ride With Me. That shit's super tough.
Pick up the supply with
and then Rich Niggas, of course. That's a classic. That was, if you was in teen night, man, you went to the club, like you heard a lot of this album in the club. This takes me back. What about you? What's your favorite joints on here besides Back That
If I
Ass
had
Up
to
and
pick some off of here, definitely going with 400 Degrees, the title track.
Fire.
He's spitting on that. You see me, I eat, sleep, shit, and talk rap. And the prelude to that, the Cash Money concert, you niggas stepping on my shoes. How much to get in? 20 fucking yen. 20 yen. Nigga, you ain't got no money. Tell that nigga to move. Like that. That's one of my favorite skits, period. That 400 Degrees, Run For It with Lil Wayne, the Hot remix. I like that with the Hot Boys, and then the Hot remix with Jay. Like they did the remix right the both ways. I'm one of the few people I like Jay verse on there.
Yeah, that threw me off. That took me a second to get used to that verse. Though I ain't gonna lie, it was just some look cool at first.
Yeah, it's mid, but it
was some look cool.
It was a big deal to have Jay-Z on the Juvenile record.
Yeah, so for sure.
Liked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jay kept his ear to the South Streets. He's jumped on plenty of Southern shit that a lot of people don't really remember or realize. He was on Silk album.
He was on Silk album. Yeah, I listened to that the other day.
Yep.
The verse was some mid.
It was.
He wasn't really giving them niggas that mid pack, boy. What do you say on that Juvie? I got big guns that go brat, brat.
Where your niggas at?
Where your niggas at? Nigga, get that shit out of here. You scorching everybody else shit, nigga. You sending me this mid.
Real quick though, this was what did for Cash Money to what kind of Ghetto D did for No Limit would make them say like that. Kind of put No Limit on the map, and they had their run off of the wave of that. Cash Money had their run off of the wave of this, and then they kind of dipped off a little bit, and then they discovered Drake and Wayne relearned how to rap, and then the rest is history. But this kind of kicked shit off for sure.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated Juvenile. Go.
He's properly rated. He's got more than one good album, and you could argue this is a classic. So he's got a classic album. G. Cole was banging. Soldier Rags before this was a good album. So now he's properly rated. He's right there, right where he need to be.
Yeah, he'll beast. What we got next?
Next up, I'm going to take it back up top to NY. We're going to go to 2003. We might as well, since we're going in chronological order
Seems like.
for the time. February 6, 2003, man, a kid named 50 Cent dropped his debut album on
Ooh.
Aftermath, Shady Records, Get Rich or Die Trying. Now, I'm going to ask where you were in just a second in terms of fucking with 50 or not. I know a lot of people heard In the Club. If you go a little bit before that, a lot of people heard Wankster and got put on with that. For me, I remember the How to Rob came out, and I thought that was interesting. That was on the You Ain't No Cop, Jay Reed. I just watched that movie too. In Too Deep. It was on In Too Deep soundtrack. And I was like, damn, what is that? So I was looking for the album, but I couldn't find it because he got shot and they ended up shelving it. But shout out to the mom and pop mixtape stores. I went to the one right there on Jefferson Street. I think it was Platinum Bound. I went to Platinum Bound Records, and they had his album that was supposed to come out, Power of a Dollar. I listened to that. I bought that, listened to that, and I thought he had potential. It had some bangers on it, like a Ghetto Quran and stuff like that. And so I was looking forward when he signed to Dre. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be kind of dope. So I had high expectations. I didn't expect this though. Just out the gate, how it come on, like it just literally the first 10 seconds. I'm like, oh shit. Like this nigga he is not bullshitting. He didn't come to play. The album is a classic. You could argue it was downhill from there, and he didn't never really kind of live up to this album. You could argue, or at least his career trajectory kind of fell off a little faster than you would have probably expected. But going 9-10 times, yeah, I think it did, because by Curtis it was a wrap. That's his third album. You would have thought he would have been 8-9 deep.
But you had like a soundtrack. You had the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack. You had the G Unit album.
The G Unit wave was it was a strong wave, but it just didn't last long. Most of those cats had one fire album, and that was it. Most of them. But this is a classic album. You could argue this should be first ballot. If I were to switch out TM 101 with something, it may be this.
No, absolutely not.
No,
I can't give you that. But
easy.
Speaking of Nashville, and Platinum Bound Records, I remember. Shout out my guy Larry Carter. He was early on 50 Cent, man. That nigga, he brought me a burnt CD with this shit on there, and I wasn't fucking with it.
When the last time you heard burnt CD though?
Yeah, right.
When last time you had to use that in the sentence?
All it had wrote on there was 50 Cent. That's all it had wrote on there. So I remember, and the reason I said shout out to Nashville is used to be this club called the Outer Limits. So again, Larry gave me the CD on a Sunday before the club popped. We used to play basketball, and I listened on the way home. I listened to it, getting ready to go out to the club. I'm like, this ain't it, little Larry. I don't know what you're talking about. We got in Outer Limits. They played that It's Your Birthday 6 times in a row. First time I'd ever heard that happen in Nashville. I don't know who that DJ was, but he ran that motherfucker back 6 times. And when I tell you, when I left out of there the next day, what I was listening to was that burnt CD with 50 Cent wrote on there. Like, that's one of those things, like when you having fun I missed it. I missed it on the first listen, second listen, when I wasn't in a surrounding place for you to take it in. Because some places you got to take music in with people and you got to get it like that. And that album is like that. And then, like you said, once I got because Wayne still had been on 106 in Park before this came out. So, I got that part of it. I wasn't a big 50 fan. And then, like I said, I had the album early. But once I seen what In the Club did in the club, okay, you would be an idiot not to fuck with it. Like I said, 6 times in a row they ran that song back.
Yeah, this was
I definitely remember when that came out and being converted into, okay, I fuck with this heavy. And it's that type of album, too.
This album was a moment. This was the pinnacle of G Unit. This again started off a wave, a tidal wave that Yayo ate off of, Buck ate off of, Banks ate off of, Reebok ate off of, fucking all of this
G-Unit
shit.
Clothing.
Niggas
was walking around with bulletproof vest T-shirts. Niggas was really doing that, man. Shit was nasty. This
album, and we went into detail about this album before. We did a top debut albums episode several years ago, and of course this got mentioned. So
Facts.
if you've been listening for a while, you already know how we feel about this. I patiently waiting. I can listen to that tomorrow. Many Men, I can listen to that
Many men
tomorrow.
still hit like it came out yesterday.
It's still amazing. I remember we went to the Locks show down here in
Came
Atlanta.
out, yeah, absolutely.
50 came out of nowhere. Nobody had any clue that he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out to that "What Up," and it came on so
Smoked
hard.
Smoked it in
That
there,
motherfucker
nigga.
was hard. It sounded so good. It sounded so good in like a show environment because I've never seen 50 in person.
Exactly. That's it. That's how I was in the club. They're like, it's your birthday. It might have been somebody's birthday. And I was like, okay, I get it. I got it. How the time for me? That's that one.
Oh my God.
That nigga was ripping that. People be forgetting 50 be having some bars sometime, man. That nigga was ripping that too. He was ripping shit on his first CD and on Massacre. After that, I ain't got nothing to tell you. I don't know nothing about it.
Was he ripping?
He was ripping shit. He was ripping shit. How the time he ripping? Easy.
That's that shit. There's not a. I'm trying to think of when I get to a song that I'm like, nah, that's some slaughter. Maybe like 9 or like.
Don't do Buck like that. That's blood.
Yeah, no, I like that song too. Yeah, maybe the Like My Style with Yo. I think that might be the one I like.
Yeah, Like My Style might be the first bad song.
And that's number
12.
He
right back on their head.
That's what I'm saying.
Right back on their head with Polar Rich, 21 Questions. Don't push me. Gotta make it to heaven. Wankster. Nigga said that don't hold up. I was talking to J-Ho. He tried to tell me that didn't hold up. Man,
what didn't hold up? The album?
This album, yeah.
What?
He said if you double back on this, it don't hold up. I said I don't know what Get Rich or Die Trying you're listening to, but it definitely holds up.
This nigga trip. This and the soundtrack hold up, nigga. Fuck you talking
I ain't listened to
about?
That soundtrack in a long time.
Soundtrack banging.
I had to double back on that.
And movie some slaw.
Yeah,
movie some slaw. Movie some slaw.
I had to double back on that.
You
just left me with this one, huh? You left me with this one. You
Absolutely.
just avoided it. Yeah, this should have been the first one you went with. But
no, it shouldn't.
Another story. Story time with Spike Lee again.
Okay.
I remember before this one came out, you had your Dodge Intrepid. I don't know. This might have been on a burnt mix CD.
Okay.
It had that slow jams on there. We ran that slow jams back, no homo.
You pause.
About at least 20 times, just because of how dope the beat was. The Luther, we had the Luther Vandross sample from it. Like it was, Blueprint it came out. Yeah, Kanye did some work on the Dynasty, but this shit was different. That slow jams was like just adding the Jamie Foxx shit in there. I'm talking about that version.
Yeah.
And then Twista coming murdering it. Like that was just new. That shit was different. And I specifically remember, like I said, listening to that song about 20 times in a row.
Yeah.
And that led to College Dropout and us getting one of the best albums in hip hop history, especially another debut. Like you said, this guy's no longer with us. I wish that he were still around to make music like this, man, but he just doesn't do that anymore. We're talking about Kanye West and College Dropout, man. This album is still amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this, well, actually, I know it's not. It's not his best album at all. Like no, Kanye West has better albums musically.
Quality-wise,
but what this did, giving other people an opportunity that wasn't just gangsters, giving niggas an opportunity that didn't sell drugs, because that was heavy when he came out.
Yeah,
you had to be a Dipset nigga or a Jeezy nigga or Ross. Like that's what it was. Like Kanye West, and I'm not trying to be funny. He was a nigga that could walk in the room and get punched in the mouth, but people still like. And he don't lose any clout for it, because the nigga would be like, man, why you hitting Kanye, bro? Like, you gonna hit Kanye? Come on. I know he annoying you, but bro, you just gotta look over him. And that was the first time that a nigga like that was able to have a voice in hip hop, and he took it, and we seen what he's done with it to this date. Like, I cannot like what he's done from a personal standpoint, but I can't deny his impact and what he's done as an artist, what he's done as a businessman. And that started with a nigga in a pink polo and a backpack telling people that he could rap when they didn't want to hear it. Him pushing that shit because he felt like he could do that shit. And that's hip hop right there. That's the story of hip hop, making your way when motherfuckers don't want to give you away. So I respect the hell out of him, and that's what this album, College Dropout, says to me.
Yeah, man. 2004, early 2004. when people say I miss the old Kanye, this is what they're
This
talking
is
about.
it.
This is it right here.
The
Um,
skits.
yeah, this is it. All of it, the chipmunk soul production, the sped up, pitch shifted samples, and this is what they're talking about. The features on here were fire. The album is straight through. We listened to that slow jams pause forever and a day. Like it was so different though, bro. Like it was
Yep.
just different, bro.
Facts.
Twister was weaving in and out of that shit. I'm not even just the biggest fan of Twister like that, but he weaving in and out of the beat. Kanye doing his thing, kind of harmonizing a little bit on it, and it was well put together. This is
Even the
where
hook, like she was
all
some
of it,
Marvin Gaye,
he
some
killed
Luther
it.
Vandross. Like what?
He killed it. He killed
Eh,
it. This is where Kanye has the cheat code being a rapper and a producer, because he's able to put these joints together and just in a way just a regular rapper wouldn't be able to do. They just wouldn't be able to do it. So this is the one that kicked the door in for him. That's why it's considered a classic. That's why we have it in the Hall of Fame. Before albums, maybe like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, what people could argue is better, or maybe
Graduation.
an album like Graduation, which is more of my favorite. But you don't get any of that shit
Without him
without
kicking the door
this.
down with this.
So
Absolutely.
this, bro, it's a classic. Yeah, again,
Yeah.
we talked about this on our debut albums episode. It's just there's nothing really too much you can say, man. It was critically acclaimed. People fucked with it. Everybody, like, come on, All Falls Down, bro. Like Through the Wire.
Mm.
Come on, with the Shaka Khan sound, like this shit is
Yeah.
crazy. Shit is
And
nuts,
that's the
bro.
thing. Now that we've wrapped what 5 it is, that's the thing about the Hall of Fame albums. When I was putting some flyers out there about what people thought about it's the feeling of it
Yep.
ain't necessarily just that music. Each of these albums, you and I had stories for
Yep.
how it made us feel when it came out. Even though we weren't heavy on Nas when it came out, we
Right.
felt the impact of it. We
Right.
felt the impact of niggas like Mac with No Limit that were rapping like this now. Like the impact of all of these albums on top of how they sounded and the nostalgia of them, that kind of gives you an idea of how we came up with these 5 for people wondering what the criteria is, because I know we'll get that question.
Sure.
But that's sort of what it is. It's not an exact science that we're using the basis. It is a feel thing that we're using here with some science added into it as far as, metrics. But most of these albums made you feel a certain way, and that's what, rap is.
Now they had impact, critical acclaim, culture acclaim. These are cultural
Numbers.
classics.
Mhm.
These aren't my favorite 5. These aren't your
Mhm.
favorite 5. These are universally
Yeah.
recognized
They
as
have to be
cultural.
respected as a classic, right?
They have to. Shout out
There's
to
no
my guy
debate.
Mike Jones. I said this on the last episode. There's 3
Mhm.
classics. There's 3 levels to classics. There's the cultural classic, recognized by everybody.
Mhm.
There's the regional classic, down south classic, West Coast classic. They're classics in their region. And then there's your personal favorite classic albums, ones that you may rock with or resonated with you, but the rest of the world maybe sleep on.
Right.
So there's levels to this classic shit. All of these are recognized culturally. If you don't think so, you were living under a rock and you need to get out from under that shit and get hip. These are all fire. Let us know what y'all think. What did we miss? What shouldn't be here? If you are new, make sure you check out the throwback episode from 2018. We'll post that in the feed a little bit later this week after y'all get this one. IG at OndeckTV Podcast and Facebook. It's the Rap Chat. That's the name of the group. Now, we got some wins and some losses, man.
We definitely have some wins. Ain't a lot of L's out there this week. Trying to keep it
Good.
positive, I guess. All right. First and foremost, we got a W to Jay-Z and Will Smith for their Emmett Till miniseries coming to ABC. How you feel about that?
Man, that's dope. People always talk about why like 2 A-listers don't get together and collab on shit. So it's good to see 2 household names like Jay-Z and Will Smith getting together, collaborating to make something happen, a story that needs to be told. And I think this is going to be centered around his relatives, if I'm not mistaken, not necessarily him. It's going to be a little bit of a different take on it. You know what I'm saying? But still informative. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's a good look for them 2 to be working together. I don't necessarily know that I want to see Emmett Till series. Like, I get the story does need to be told. You're right. Shout out to Lovecraft. They showed had a reference of Emmett Till in there. Like it was a kid and there was supposed to be Emmett Till, and they were telling me he wasn't going to enjoy his trip down south.
You gonna
It's like a
spoil
little
it? Don't spoil
premonition.
the
Yeah,
show.
tough. Yeah, tough. But yeah,
Fuck.
dope. Tough. Now, a W also to hip hop artists in Tulsa. The
Mm.
Rolling Stone had an article about them. They had a Juneteenth concert plan where they were going to put the proceeds to give back to the community and tell the story about Black Wall Street and how it affected Oklahoma. That had to be pushed back past Juneteenth due to COVID. But they did get it in, and they were out there putting down for Tulsa and letting people know about Black Wall Street. What do you think?
Man, shout out to Tulsa. I saw a Dateline or some 2020 special
Mm-hmm.
on Black Wall Street, and it made me want to read every book that's ever been made about it. I was
Absolutely.
like, yo, this shit was dumb interesting. I'm not
I
super
remember it.
versed in everything that happened. I get the general story, but I don't know the details. That shit made me want to look into it. So shout out to Tulsa hip hop artists, man. I might check some of them out, man.
Absolutely. And lastly, a W to your man, Dwayne Carter. He released No Ceilings again on all
Mm.
streaming platforms this time. And he is set to do 24 to 27,000 in this week since he's released it, which is going to put him on the Billboard 200 charts. Shout out to Wayne, man.
Shout out
Residuals.
to No Ceilings, the last classic Wayne mixtape. It's missing some songs though. It's missing like 6 or 7 bangers too.
He probably couldn't get them cleared, right?
Yeah, because he's on Death of Auto Tune. That's not on. That didn't make it. And it was another J song. Oh,
Jay
Run
ain't
This
released it,
Town.
man.
Run This Town. That
That's
ain't on there.
Let me
He
tell
got
you
the
how
song.
hard Jay laughed when he called trying to get that
Ah, yeah,
released.
no, he shut that down real quick. The song with Birdman, like that mixtape is fire though. Like that was in
Last Wayne
2009.
mixtape.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to say that was the last great Wayne
No, it was
mixtape.
after '09, wasn't it? It was after
Really?
we moved down here. Yeah, I think it was 11. It
Damn,
had to
really?
be like, I think it was a year after we moved down here, if I'm not mistaken.
Shit, I don't know, but that album is crazy. I mean, that mixtape was crazy though. Um, and that was '09, October 31st, 2009.
Really?
Yep.
Maybe I'm thinking about No Ceilings too.
Yeah, that was some look cool. That was some look
It's
cool.
mid pack.
This mixtape is fire. This holds up today, by the way. It shit still bangs. I'm single. Like, come on now. Shit,
Fire. On
wow.
Decker of the week. Who
We have an on
got?
decker of the week, man. Let's go to Twitter. Shout out to at OUD1890. He said, shout out to Spike Lee and Animal Brown. On Deck TV is my favorite podcast. Wishing these two nothing but success. Respect to you guys. The podcast has helped
Right
me
back
out
at you.
in more ways than one. So appreciate that, big dog. AC at OUD1890. We appreciate the support and the kind words, big dog.
Yeah, right back at you. Much success to you out there, man. Whatever you have going on, we fully support it. As long as it's above the board. What you putting
Absolutely.
us on this week?
You touched on it, and I said that we talked
Pause.
about this last week. Was the Lovecraft Country. I finally watched it. I can go ahead and stamp it. I watched the first episode. It was fire. If you haven't watched it, it's on HBO. Go check it out. Produced by Jordan Peele. Y'all know he got the Midas touch right now. I'm really feeling the vibe of it. It's like a horror, sci-fi type joint, but it's based in what, the 50s, 60s.
Yeah, like the
I'm
50s.
feeling it. That first episode was very intriguing, caught my attention. It's taking everything in me not to run both of those episodes back, but I had some shit to do. So I'm looking forward to where this is going to go. We can go ahead and stamp this. It's fire.
I haven't watched episode 3 yet. I just read that what I told y'all about, so I'm looking forward to watching that tonight after the game. But shout out to Misha Green as well. She's the showrunner for this show. I think it's kind of her idea. So shout out to her putting everything together for this. I enjoy this, man. This is a dope ass show. I love seeing black people in this role.
Yeah.
I 100% like seeing black people in the sci-fi role and not having to. It's good not seeing just one black people in types of work like this. My put on is a TV show as well.
Okay.
Big bro Bird gonna be happy about this, man. I finished the first season of Yellowstone. Starring Kevin Costner. It's on the Paramount Network. I've watched it on the Peacock app. I ain't gonna lie, man. I want to go buy me a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I've been watching this, man. They some badass cowboys, man. I've been pricing them. Like I was like on the sixth episode, I was like, man, I'm getting me a cowboy hat. And y'all
Mm,
may see me rocking cowboy hat, getting off in it in a dope fit. But man, this shit made me want to go buy a cowboy hat. That's some good. It's some good television, man. I like TV shows where you get kind of into the world of where they exist in it. Like this is set in Montana on a ranch in Montana, and this
okay.
big dog Kevin Costner played this big dog billionaire trying to keep his ranch, and it's good, man. It's really good. So I would suggest you guys you can binge the first two seasons on Peacock. I'm not sure where to find
First
season
three.
three.
Yeah,
Three
first
ain't
three are
on there.
on. Really?
Nah, the second one
Oh.
on there. Yeah, the third season you got to pay for, I believe, on Apple TV. It's one of those deals. You
Hmm.
know how they'll do it? They'll run that third season like they did with Better Call Saul. I was telling you, you
Got
couldn't
you.
find it nowhere. It was on Netflix, but then that last season wasn't on Netflix. Uh,
I think Xfinity has it on demand though. If I'm not
okay, so I'm
mistaken.
finna hurry up and do that before I
Yeah.
cancel my cable. Definitely finna cutting the cord this week. I got the Fire Stick on the way for football season.
I can respect and accept that, man. I'm gonna check that out
Facts.
too, man.
That shit
Yeah,
good, man. You're gonna have your
I
cowboy
heard.
hat, I promise you.
Absolutely not. I may move to Montana, but I ain't wearing no
I'm gonna
cowboy
give
hat
me a
though.
cowboy hat. Something I learned from that show, Montana had the highest rate of wealth per capita. Did you know that? Over LA and New York. It's crazy.
I can see that. I can see that.
So,
Was some
so
oil or some shit up there or something, ain't
where
it?
billionaires go to play? They said, yeah, oil. They do
Gotcha.
have oil there, big ass cattle ranches and shit. And there ain't a lot of people there. And most of the people there got money.
That's true. Yeah, I'm headed there then. Man, listen, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, check out that Hall of Fame albums first ballot episode on the feed coming soon. Patreon.com/realville. September is here. We will be having big changes coming this month. Big additions to
Okay.
Patreon, new content for your head top, man. I'm excited for y'all to hear this. What else, man? Anything else before we get out of here?
That's it, man. We definitely appreciate you guys. Go to the YouTube channel on Deck TV, excuse me, Realville at the YouTube channel, and make sure that you subscribe. We want to get to over 1,000 subscribers. You guys help us out with that, man. Once we get there, we'll have some giveaways and things going on with that. So just go subscribe to the YouTube channel.